All right, so welcome back. I wanted to show you a look at a video that I shot last night from my apartment as we're kind of talking about crime around the country. Here, I'm going to let you tell you what's happening. The guy there in that kind of shirt had climbed up on the fireman's rig when no one was looking. Firemen, of course, telling him they helped him down. And then, well, he didn't want to hear it, so starts to pick a fight with the firemen. It got kind of intense, kept going. And then all of a sudden you see they're wrestling down on the ground. They held him on the ground there, I'm going to say, for a good 3 or 4 minutes. When he got up again, he walked away and then kept coming back at them, yelling at them. And then this is where it even intensified. But if you can see, I hope here we have the part of the video where then the gentleman starts putting his arms up in the air. But what's happening here, which I think is fascinating, there you go. He looks like he is trying to get them to either attack him, to hit him. They were having verbal escalations, but this guy really kept going back to the truck, really looking for a problem there. Luckily, nobody got injured. But again, just literally watching this from my home, when someone is trying to almost push the NYPD to do something they will regret. It's a real problem. And this guy then continued to stumble down the street, clearly on drugs or alcohol or something like that. But again, this went on for, I'm going to say, like 10 or 15 minutes. Just wouldn't let him go. And joining us now with their reaction, lawyer and GOP strategist Ford O'Connell and John Burnett. And of course, Bob is here with us from D.C. John, you and I were chatting about this a little bit during the break, and I was just saying what shocked me. I started shooting it because I didn't want someone to get hurt. And I thought, well, if they do, we know that things are crazy now. At least I have a video. But then when I kept watching the man who was clearly intoxicated keep going back again and again and then put his arms up, I realized what was going on.
Just like you, Katrina, I've seen this a dozen times, either in the subway or on any street in New York City, whether it's NYPD or FDNY. These individuals, whether they're high on drugs or mentally challenged or sane individuals, trying to instigate, agitate law enforcement and our bravest into situations so that way they can actually get bumps, scars, bruises, and so forth in order to reach a settlement. Get anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 and one lump sum payment from New York City. So these are people that actually make a living out of this.
And the host of Money Talk with Melanie Collette also joins us now. But Melanie, thanks for being with us. I don't know if you caught the video, but if you did, I'd just love to get your thoughts.
I did. You know, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And one of the things that I don't find to be fantastic about driving in NYC, like, I love the city, but it like, it's crazy. And to John's point, people literally think that that's a stream of income. That is not one of the streams of income that I recommend on Money Talk with Melanie, or to jump out in front of your car and fake fall down. There are some more reasonable ways to generate income than to subject your body to possible harm.
Yeah, Ford, maybe you could address this legally, because as I'm looking at it as a non-lawyer, this guy won't go away. The firefighters just want to do their job. He puts them in a difficult position. And when somebody takes off their jacket, you know, it's almost like they're looking for a fight. And like John was saying, and as Katrina can tell you, in New York, you get these crazies all over the place. And crazy defined by either their mental state or being on drugs or drinking or whatever it is. And in this case, he's going after the firefighters, but it could be you or me on another day. And that's what's scary about New York right now and a lot of places in this country.
Well, let's start with the firefighters. Section 15208 of the New York Code actually criminalizes this gentleman's behavior, whether he's high or he's not. Interfering with the official duties of a firefighter in New York City is a punishable offense. Here's the problem. Is Alvin Bragg going to back the firefighters and the NYPD Blue? And if they don't, then people won't fear the consequences, and the trial lawyers, to John's point, are going to have a payday. Now, here's the other problem I have. If it's me and you, Bob, here's the other issue, particularly in bruised strongholds. They have criminalized self-defense. We saw this in the New York subway. All the facts aren't out yet, but this is what's going on around the country. Think about for a minute why the Democrats are always so hacked off about stand your ground laws in red states, because they want to criminalize self-defense. And when you criminalize self-defense, then no one has it out and no one's safe.
Yeah, Ford, I think that's a great point. Go ahead, Bob.
No, Kat, I was going to ask you what your thoughts were in seeing this, because we all know it's everywhere in New York, and you know in New York there are things, but this is right outside where you live, and I'm kind of curious what effect it had on you.
Yeah, first of all, sorry, Mom and Dad, that I didn't tell you, because now my parents are freaking out. It was okay. But I know I was getting ready to go to bed, and I saw this guy stumbling. I mean, he could barely even stand up before I started shooting the video. Then I saw him climbing up the rig. He climbed all the way to the top, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen now? And then one of the other fire trucks that you can't see there came to get him, and I just thought, this doesn't look good. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to be one of those people who videotapes it, just in case someone gets hurt. I wanted there to be evidence. Of course, I'm thinking of the firefighters, and I'm glad that I have it, just in case. But then watching an individual clearly try to instigate violence against himself by members of the NYPD, I just thought it's scary, it's dangerous, and it could have gone horribly wrong. And just a big shout out to Ladder 15 here in Manhattan for keeping their cool. And I will say, Ford, to your point, I did then see a police car coming down the road after the gentleman walked off. I had hoped he would get there earlier. Don't know if he was coming for that guy, but I hope he was.
When I got finished with him, he would have sobered up quickly.
Just call John Burnett.
Well, if you don't, the problem though is if you do not hold people accountable for consequences like this going forward, it only is going to breed more. Right. That's what a lot of people don't realize. That's why it's so bad with the Soros DAs and the Alvin Braggs of the world.
I agree.
When people don't fear the consequences, we're all in danger.
All right, very well said. Ford O'Connell, Melanie, Collette, and John Burnett, thanks so much for being with us.